Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Two Dudes Podcast. I'm Rick, and alongside me for the ride is Kevin. This should be episode number, I believe, 94. So 94 in. Be sure and leave us a comment if you're on YouTube or Facebook and checking us out. Let us know what you like and how things are going. And Kevin, how you doing, man?
I have been better.
Yeah, I feel you. Today's not one of my better days. Blood pressure's up. And I've been out of it for most of the day. I did get tested again just to make sure it wasn't the big C. In this case, the little C.
You get your results back yet?
Yeah, I'm negative.
Oh, okay, you good to go there.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of figured if I wasn't coming down with COVID, it had to be the blood pressure because I don't have any other symptoms. My head has been killing me. And my blood pressure is always running high, but today it was sky high. So right after the show, I'm going to take another blood pressure pill, and I'm probably going to sleep good.
How's the missus?
Her fever's gone down, but this morning she said that she can no longer taste or smell.
Yeah, that happens.
I think tomorrow she'll probably start to turn around and feel a little bit better. And then Thursday, for sure. Friday, she probably won't even notice that she had. But
Yeah,
it truly does affect different people different ways. Darian
that's
had
true.
like a fever for 2 days, and then he was good to go. It took her down.
I told you mine just had a headache and a sore throat, and that was it.
Didn't you test today?
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, I tested today. I should get my results tonight or first thing in the morning. Like I said, I don't think I got it. I could be wrong.
That's the reason why I tested too, because you could be asymptomatic, but it was good knowing that I don't have it, which means whatever we're doing around the house is working to stay away from each other.
When people say asymptomatic, what do they mean by that?
That means you test positive, but you have no symptoms. Like, I don't know if you remember the game in Carolina earlier this year. They did not let Cam Newton play, even though he was working down, he felt fine. But they said that's because you're asymptomatic.
Oh, okay.
So you could have it, or you could just be carrying it, but you won't have any symptoms.
Yeah, 'cause like yesterday I woke up body hurting, and like today I kind of got a cough or whatever, but it don't feel like no more than a regular cold to me. It don't feel like flu or anything, just like a regular cold.
That's all it might be. The only reason why I tested twice, though, was because I remember the secretary at the high school, she was negative one day. The very next day, she was positive. So
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? It wouldn't hurt to test.
Yeah, so I went and got tested. Then in the process of getting tested, my car started messing up. So that's frustrating right there.
What's it doing?
Basically, at some point, I don't know when, how, you go, you get your oil changed these places, you never know when it happens. At some point, I got an oil leak. And some way back when, Firestone was like, you got an oil leak. I was like, yeah, I've been told about it. And I was like, what it costs to get it fixed? And they was like, it probably costs more than what the car is worth to fix it. But I was like, all right, cool, whatever. So I left it alone. I still there to get oil change and shit like that. But I think the leak has gotten worse to where I'm on my way. I'm in Independence. Next thing I know, my car started going crazy. Time I checked the system, this, that, and the third. I put it in park and turn it off, and I'm seeing smoke or whatever. So then I pop the hood, and I'm just seeing smoke. I'm like, well, no, it's probably because of the oil or whatever. Yeah. And then I check, that mug's bone dry. So that leak has probably gotten worse. Yeah. So thankfully, I had 2 things of oil in my car.
That's what I was getting ready to say, because your engine was getting ready to lock up.
Yeah, so I poured 2 things of oil in it, and I got to my sister's job because I was on my way to get tested. You know, she worked at the health department, Independence or whatever. So got tested. Then I had a tow truck come and brought it back to the house. And I'm gonna call. She got a mobile mechanic that works on cars and stuff. So I'm gonna call him and see what he say, because who can't afford another vehicle right now is me. You know, between the whole, Chapter 13 that I'm having to deal with and looking for employment, the odds are stacked against me.
It definitely will get better. It's a process.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling myself. I'm telling myself it's a process. It's gonna get better, but right now it's an irritant. Like between that, then I come to the crib. Daughter's talking about their throats is hurting. So, I go ahead and walk to the Dollar General, get some Mucinex, some maximum strength for sore throat. I'm going to knock this shit out aggressively. Get that, come back with that. Then their mom called the oldest, talking about she don't feel safe going to school until she get COVID tested. And I'm like, had she said that to me, she could have went with me to get tested at the Delta department.
Yeah.
So and then I told her, I was like, but I guess, kids are comfortable who they comfortable with. And I guess I have to remember I'm looked at as the iron fist and she's looked at as the fun parent in some regards. And like I was telling them, like, y'all going to school tomorrow. And I appreciate the fact that she's mindful and want to be worried about classmates and stuff like that. I appreciate and love it. But like I told her, you can say something to me. You don't have to not say anything. Like I told her, so whatever I tell you, whatever decision's been made, trust me, I've talked to your mom. I'm not just saying you're going to do this, you're going to do that. There's been conversation prior.
Right.
So I think a lot of time these kids, unfortunately, when you're divorced or separated or whatever, some parents do things on a solo and don't confer with the other parent. That's not me. I'm a confer. We go be on the same page. I'm like, that may irritate, but that's just how I get down. Because I don't ever want there to be a feeling of miscommunication or whatever. So I had to let her know. I was like, it's cool. You want to get tested? There's no problem. But do know, no decision was made without the other involved.
And that's the way it should be, whether you're together or apart.
Exactly.
So I was checking out an article, and let's see where it was from. Deadline came out with an article, and apparently, and I also saw it on Chuck D's Instagram page. BBC is doing the story of hip hop with Chuck D, and it's going to be on PBS stations. They published the article today, and I don't think that we have a release date yet, but it says that it comes from BBC Studios, the production arm of British Public Broadcasting, and is co-produced with the BBC. The series is developed by Chuck D himself and his manager, Laurie Bola, and it traces the story globally of influential artists over the past 40 years up to today. And it's going to feature firsthand accounts from some of rap's most integral players, including Run DMC, LL Cool J, and Queen Latifah. So, yeah, I can't really wait to see this. I know that there's been other shows like this before, and documentaries and miniseries, but I'm expecting, since it's coming from Chuck D, that we're going to get a much broader or different perspective on this. You got any thoughts on that?
I'm a pass, because Chuck D is still stuck in the 90s when he was somebody. Problem is, you just said LL, Queen Latifah, Chuck D, and whoever else it was. None of them niggas are relevant right now. So they're only going to give you so much. They only talk about what they experience and what's going on. They can't go past, let's say, they can't go past 2005 at best. It is one of the things to where they can speak on who gives them homage as far as the new rappers or whatever, but they don't have enough where they can speak on, especially globally, because they wasn't globally touring like that back in the day. So this is really going to be.
Yeah. They were. If you listen to It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, the very first track is from their tour in London.
They're not touring like that to talk on the hip. They may be touring, yeah, they going to do shows, but they're not embedded in it, is what I'm saying. So it's like, it's not going to be what it should be, is the best way to put it. And it was like, hey, Chuck D's cool, whatever, but I'm only going to listen so far to what Chuck D got, because a lot of the people, whether it be from the late 90s, 2000s, if they wasn't on political, like his style, he really didn't mess with them. So it's hard for me to listen to a documentary or whatever you go do when I know you've been one-sided. So I really can't fathom your mind being worldly to where you giving everybody a moment. So it's like, it'd be different if it was from somebody that wasn't in front of the camera. If it was somebody else behind, I could take it more.
I see what you're saying, but I don't think this is going to be told by him. I think that he's just a producer on the project.
That's giving him too much control as it is. He should just be a talking head for his time, and that's it.
I don't know, because I think it was either called The History of Rap or The Art of Rap. Ice-T did a damn good job.
But that's the thing. Ice-T didn't give a fuck. He went from dancer to rapper to actor. He gave love to everybody. He wasn't just in his lane of gangster rap. Chuck D's never went beyond his political style of rap. And that's the problem, depending on what he's doing with this documentary. Like Queen Latifah, she's strictly women's rights, pro-woman, this, that, and the third. She never went, but then she did sing jazz. She did blues or whatever. So she's a little bit more worldly on her view and vision of hip-hop.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. I think because the aforementioned Queen Latifah and LL Cool J, they are going to go into it a little bit deeper and talk about, what all the old heads have done since they broke into the business. And that would be a cool aspect because LL Cool J has been on NCIS for damn near 12 years. Queen Latifah's got the Equalizer show, and she's done acting. So I think they'll tackle it from a standpoint of, rap is a young man's game. What did the old heads, what have they done when they got out the game?
But see, that has nothing to do with the documentary is about. We're not talking about their life out of rap. We're talking about rap.
But it talks about how rap opened doors for them to get into those other things. Because, if LL wasn't a successful rapper back in the day, he wouldn't be on TV now.
He got to be on TV because he still think I'm bad, LL. And I'm like, you're not. You're not at all. You're not walking like a panther. You're not backseat of my Jeep. You're not that. You're more hate lover, LL, if anything.
Yeah, that era LL, I didn't care for. You can't say that. But
I've learned though.
Be soft.
But what I will say in LL's defense, that's just niggas from New York. They all got that cocky arrogance about them, like they still just like they never not been the shit. And I so bad want to be like, you're not the shit at all.
Well, I will keep track of this though and see when it comes out. If it's a docu-series, I'll at least check out the first episode to see where they're going.
Yeah. Then also Bottom is on the BBC. I'm like, it could have been somewhere else, but they might get more leeway. And then it's like, for you to say how much you go cover, well, this is going to be like a 10-part documentary or something.
And that's what I was getting ready to say next. The longer it is, the more coverage they can give to it. If it's just a 2-hour special, it's probably
I don't watch it. Because ABC made that mistake middle toward the end of last year and did one on the women of hip hop. And when I tell you they shrunk it, fast forwarded it, and just chewed up and then spit it out, I lost time out of my life. I'm glad I watched it on Hulu. Because if I'd have watched it in live and through commercials and shit, I'd have been pissed.
I didn't even know it was on. But
Now, I will say, they did teach me that there was a female rapper before Roxanne Shante. I didn't know that. And, and it was pretty cool. But then when it got to like the 90s female hip hop, it's like early 2000, what should have been like this was like that.
I got a good one for you. Name me the first female that did a rap on a record. You'll never get it, but
Well, that's the female that was on that documentary. I don't remember what her damn name was.
Was she white or black?
She was black.
Nope, you're wrong, man. It was actually
Sure
Debbie. It was actually Debbie Harry from Blondie in the song.
What
Rapture.
year? What year?
Oh, it would have been 70, either 8 or 79. I'd have to look that up.
You're wrong. The lady on the documentary they talked about, she was 75.
Really?
Yes. Like I said, there was a black chick rapping before Roxanne Shante.
Dang it. I'm going to have to look this chick up then because I don't know her name.
And I forgot what her name was, and I was like, wow. I was mind blown.
I'm definitely going to look into that, man, because that's something new to me. I always like to get into the history of stuff. I don't know if you've been keeping up on the Book of Boba Fett. You probably haven't watched any of the 3 episodes.
I watched the first one, and then that was it. I took that book back to the library.
It's gradually picking up because, like I said, those first 3 episodes were to set up the story. It's about to get good now because he's about to go to war with the syndicate. I forget what name they are, but they're a syndicate, and it's gonna be crazy. So everybody was looking for this badass Boba Fett who was ruthless. He about to let that ruthlessness come out.
I may give it a try. I may go back to it, but it's
just think of it as power with a guy from New Zealand.
See, I went to Power toward the end was trash, so
I don't know about Tordine because I have not watched it in a while.
probably like I said, it was cool. It went longer than what it was supposed to, and I hate when shows do the whole let's split the seasons up. We go do part this, and you got to wait for the next part, and to do all that, and it just wasn't worth it. So I was 5 seconds annoyed by it. That's why I hate that the Ozarks is having basically 2 combined seasons, but they split it in half. So
yeah, I see it a lot from these streaming channels.
I guess it's the end thing now.
What they do is, like, for example, I watched Lucifer on Netflix. During season 5, I believe it was, they split it in half. You got the first 8 episodes. Then they took a summer break or fall break, whatever time of year it was. Then they came back with the last 6 episodes of the season. And I'm like, really? You got to wait 3, 4, 5 months just to get to the next episode of the same season? They do it to keep you interested and keep you watching and everything.
Keep dialed in.
And the other reason is I think it went almost a year before they did the 6th and final season. So that was a good move on their part, stretching season 5 out as long as they did. That way it didn't seem like you waited as long for season 6. I'm just thankful that network TV shows don't do that. I would hate to have to, watching Blackish, the final season, and they're like, oh, here's the first 10 episodes. We'll see you in about 4 months for the last 10. Really? Y'all gonna do me like that? So, but yeah, if you get a chance, you probably could skip episodes 2 and 3 of the Book of Boba Fett. Tomorrow, just check out episode 4. It drops at midnight tonight.
I'll think about it.
You can also cheat. You can watch my YouTube channel, and I'll just Thursday morning have the recap on there.
I'm already cheating on another show I just started watching. My damn sister got me on FBI.
Which one? The regular one? Or
Yeah, just FBI, yeah.
because they got 3 or 4 of them now.
Yeah, I watched Most Wanted and it was dry as toast, so I had to stop watching.
Yeah.
But I watched FBI and it kind of got me in. I started its 4 seasons. I think it just
Damn,
started
has it been
season
on there?
4. You said what?
I forgot. I didn't know it's been on that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good show. I've seen a few episodes.
Yeah, I
But
started in
haven't-
season 3.
I haven't been invested in it enough to watch it regularly. And I believe today's Tuesday? So today is FBI night.
Yeah, I don't know. I watch it on Paramount Plus. I don't know when it comes out.
There you go. It's Tuesdays because they have FBI, then they have FBI Most Wanted, then they have FBI International or whatever it's called.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I just watch FBI. But I told her since I'm watching that, she need to watch Puerto Rican PI to tell me what she thinks.
Now, I'll tell you one that I started watching, but I could not complete it. NCIS Hawaii. It's a lot less like NCIS. And because it's in Hawaii, it seemed to me like they were trying to fill the gap since they stopped doing Hawaii 5-0. And
Yeah.
it was like a poor man's NCIS and a poor man's Hawaii 5-0 combined. I'm not invested in the characters. I'm not invested in the storylines. So it's lost me.
I hate that they got rid of NCI New Orleans and they created that show. And this is about to sound real sexist. I don't care. I've had a real fucked up day. Vanessa Lachey is too beautiful to be a cop. So I'm putting it out there.
No lies told there.
She's too beautiful to be thugging in the streets as a cop. So I just refuse to believe it.
But really, can you really say thugging in the streets in Hawaii?
Hawaii got some grimy spots. We just ain't gonna know because we ain't going to them spots.
That's true.
Yeah, when you people talking about the main island and shit like that, at least you know some thugging ass spots.
Oh, yeah. When you got to take a helicopter to get from one island to the other, yeah.
When you can go live in huts in the mountains and they don't bother you, that lets you know something ain't right.
Oh, they got shit like that in Kentucky. You ever watch Justified?
No, I've never watched that before.
Bro, 7 seasons of pure joy. Justified is one of those shows that you can watch from start to finish and love it. It's got humor, it's got violence, if you're into it, gunplay, hand to hand. Oh, man. It's got everything. It's basically about Raylan Givens. He's a U.S. Marshal, Deputy U.S. Marshal. And the major story arc all the way through is he's forced to go back to Kentucky, to the town he grew up in. And not only is he a Deputy U.S. Marshal, one of the major crime people in the series at the beginning was his father. You know, he learned the ins and outs of crime when he was younger from his dad. Now he's taken that and flipped it so that, you know, he can do what he needs to do as a U.S. Marshal. He's very quick on the draw and he makes things happen and he gets out of scrapes with his mind. And his former best friend is the chief bad guy, villain, whatever you want to call it, throughout the season. So they spend most of the 7 years playing cat and mouse as he tries to set up, I guess his friend's name is Boyd, to finally take him down. It's a damn good show. And there are some characters on there. So if you ever get a chance, watch Justified. I put that up there. There was a lot of good stuff that came up on the FX network. The Shield was another good one. You know, I'm all about the corrupt cop. That's more believable than Vanessa Lachey.
You're all about the corrupt cop.
Yeah, I could say something about real cops, but I'm not going there. Another one, Sons of Anarchy on FX network.
Yeah, that's a classic show.
Good show.
I was late to the party. The ending was trash, but overall the show was good.
Nah, that was the only way Jackson could go out.
That was the dumbest shit ever.
He did too much. He didn't want to go out like Juice.
That was the dumbest shit ever. To end it like that, I was so damn pissed because I started watching season 5, and so I binged 4 seasons in like 3 weeks.
So you came in on it after Jim had took the ice pick to Jackson's wife.
Yeah, I came in when it was just really getting out of hand.
Yeah, from there it was all blood.
You know, I had to get past Jimmy Smith's being a thug or whatever. I was like, if you don't get his LA Law ass up out here, so I had to get past that. You
But
know,
he made a good OG because he knew how to keep it low profile for real.
nah, they could have got someone. George Lopez would have been better than Jimmy. It's,
That's a stretch right there.
I had to get past that. Then I had to see Katie Seagal, not as Peg Bundy. So once I got past those two things,
That one was easy because in that first season, she did some ruthless stuff.
well, see, remember I binged it, so I had to consume it fast. It didn't get to matriculate in my mind.
And the same thing for Ron Perlman. You're no longer looking at Hellboy.
So I never watched Hellboy. I never cared to see it. So him being who he was cool.
Yeah,
he was bogus as shit.
Yes, he was. But they got him in the end too.
And then why was it Odie, whatever old boy's name was, when they killed him, I was like, that's fucked up.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like,
they took him out in prison.
Yeah.
And he knew it's a sacrifice for the team. I'd have been like, nah, bro, you go on in there.
It just reminds me why I'm not in the biker club. It just reminded me why I didn't do it.
Okay, so movie-wise, I finally watched this weekend The Suicide Squad. Not bad. It was not like the first movie, Suicide Squad. Don't ask me why they called this one The Suicide Squad, but that's up to them. It was directed by James Gunn, and it was more like the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I liked it. Lots of humor, lots of violence and gore. He did what he wanted to, and I think this was his FU to Disney for firing. And apparently they were like, yeah, you were right, bro, because they hired him back to start filming Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So I found it to be entertaining. Not an essential must-watch, but entertaining.
I look at it like this. Disney hired him back because he's been in the machine. He know how it go. I think sometimes you got to go show you can do something without the machine. That was an okay movie. Wasn't good. Wasn't great. It shows you the Will Smith effect because it clearly missed Will. And Idris Elba being poor man's Will, felt bad for him because he was all right, but them other characters was all trash. Polka Dot Dude, the chick with the rats, the shark boy or whatever, that was just real trash. They needed
I agree with you on
other
Polka Dot
characters.
Man, but
Yeah, Polka Dot Man.
Ratcatcher too, she was okay. And John
Margot
Cena's
Robbie's character just seemed out of place.
Yeah, but she's a little odd in most of those movies.
Yeah, and I said her character just seemed out of place. Like I said, that was the Will Smith effect. It's like, and if you look at the first one, he centered everything. Idris couldn't do that with this one. And like Idris was cool, but notice Idris is like Denzel. He's the same character in all his fucking movies. You take Idris out of that, and you put Idris from Takers, it's the same damn person.
Hey, Takers was a good ass movie.
Wasn't long enough.
Really, you think that?
It should have been at least another 20, 25 minutes.
I'd rather.
It was just the ending was so boom, boom, boom. It kind of sucked.
I see what the director was doing with it though, because when you get into shit like that, everything happens fast. I'd rather them do that than stretch it out too far. Kind of like Venom 2. Venom 2 was a very short movie. It's only an hour and a half. It didn't need to be longer because you add any more to it. It's like, I don't want to go to sleep on the dull parts. Just get me to the action, fight it out. Somebody wins. Let's turn it off.
But my thing is with Takers, they were so calculated and so cold. They went out and got found too easy. It is like all day elusiveness went out the window.
Yeah.
Cause like Michael Ealy and Chris Brown, they whole scene, really? Y'all going out with shotguns against the whole police force? Come on. Y'all ain't had no back way out that bar. It's just like, it was just too simplistic.
Well, keep in mind, as good a movie as Takers was, it was no set it off.
And how good really was Set It Off? Well, I mean, let's be real about it.
I look at it as a cult classic. I mean, it's not a masterpiece by any stretch,
And
but
I don't know why it's a cult classic.
it's just one of them that when it's on, you kind of stop for a few seconds and you watch it a little bit.
When it's on, I go to the another channel. Only time I watch it is Queen Latifah's death scene. That's it.
Opposite for me, I like to watch Jada Pinkett get away.
I could care less. She was weak anyway.
But that was before Jada lost her mind.
And just like Love Jones, trash ass movie.
Yeah,
But everybody swears it's the greatest.
No.
A lot of that late 90s, early 2000 era movies were really trash.
And remember, we talked a couple episodes back about Love and Basketball. I can't even get with that after watching what goes on in the WNBA.
Love and Basketball was okay, but it was trash overall. That is something you watch when you dating because you got no choice but to.
Tell you what, off the top of your head, name me any 80s or 90s mostly black movie that you really liked. I got one on the tip of my tongue.
I mean, that's easy. There's a lot of movies like that. It's like, like recently, like I told you, I had the girls watching House Party. Classic. 1, 2 is okay. 1's a classic.
See, my thing is once you introduce that sequel, you cheapen the whole thing.
As I said, 1. Yeah, I'm going to introduce you to 1, like Home Alone. When you watch the first Home Alone, anything after that, you're on your own. Just like with Space Jam. I had them watch the first Space Jam. I watched the second one myself just so I could see, and the second one was just as trash as the first one.
I'll
But the
throw two
first
more
one-
out. The Karate Kid and Die Hard. How does the same thing happen to the same person all the time?
Now, I will say, Die Hard 1 was good, and Die Hard 3 was good. The third one with Samuel L. Jackson was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Karate Kid, the first one, second one. After that, I'm done. But my girls love the one with Jaden. And I've heard a lot of people say
made that.
a lot of people gave that one praise, and since they didn't do a sequel, the praise kind of grew for it. Now, I will say, the show on Netflix, they did a good job.
I was going to say, wouldn't that be something if Jaden ended up on Cobra Kai?
He wouldn't do it. He's too far out there. And they're not doing anything to anyone that wasn't a part of the original. So, like Hillary Swank, I doubt she'll be on it, and I doubt Jaden would be in it.
I would bet we would probably see Hillary Swank before we would see Jaden, because that's from the same quote unquote universe.
Yeah, I guess Mr. Miyagi was in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say Cobra Kai, that's one of the few rollouts from a movie that's actually been good.
And that's the thing about some of these streaming services. They are really putting the foot down when it comes to these movies and these series. They kicking networks in the ass.
Well, the thing is, they rating their own shit. So, like, say we work for Netflix, we write a script. That mother could be like an Andrew Dice Clay stand-up, cuss words every 5 minutes. But we're dictating our own shit because it's our company.
Yeah. Can't do that on ABC.
Exactly. You send that to a network, whole different ball game.
And that's why I couldn't really get with that show that you said you liked, Grand Crew. It's a little bit too far out there.
No,
It's not bad. Granted, I've only watched one episode.
It's
That
a black
and that
version.
auto show that comes on before it.
The auto show, it's whatever. But Grand Crew is like a black version of Friends, which I hate that they're stereotypical to where they hang out at a bar while Friends hung out at a coffee shop. But coming of age, late 20s, early 30s, and they hang out at a wine bar per se.
Yeah. I might watch another episode. And
I say give it a try. It's subtle humor. It's funny. It's more sophisticated versus ignorant. So it's not bad.
yeah,
Everyone I know in my, because it's basically for, and like I said, this ain't me trying to be bogus, my demographic, and I say between me being early 40s to like mid 30s, it's kind of that demographic. And everyone I know that watched it like it because we, in some regards, can relate to it. It's just because of COVID, though, we ain't hanging out in no wine bars or anything.
that's true. Hey, any good albums you ever heard lately?
Let me see. No, The Weeknd put out a CD, but I don't know what the fuck he's doing. It's like he just put out music or he put out music. That's all I got. But no, it's been dead. First quarter is usually dead. Second quarter, things will start. That'd be around like March, April. So everybody shoots for either third quarter being summertime and fourth quarter being end of the year. So right now it's gonna be dead in a lot of ways. It's just, the song of the hour right now is Ari Lennox and that damn song Pressure. You can't get away from it. That motherfucker's everywhere.
I have not been streaming music lately. I have not been listening to the radio in the car. I listen to my own stuff. And I guess this is where my openness shows. I'm already set in what I like. And I can't get
No, I mean
I can't
think
get with this new stuff.
what people don't realize, we're all like that. We all only listen to what we like. We don't open our ears to everything. Our kids do that. Like my kids, one of them was listening to George Michael, but then they'll listen to some one of these newer artists.
But see, I'm that same way, but I'm set in a specific time period. Not a genre, but a time period.
See, that's the
80s,
point.
90s, and early 2000s. I'll listen to that.
No, see, that's what I'm saying. They're listening like something from the late 80s, early 90s, but they'll listen to something from 2020, 2021. Like their playlist that they both have made on Spotify is like intermingled with a lot of stuff. Like Kaylee had listened to a playlist that was all SZA and Bruno Mars, majority of it. And then like Jaya's, hers was like Yin Yang Twins. Somebody like Ari Lennox. Then it went to where it might have been like Naughty by Nature. It was just all kind of just different stuff.
Yeah.
These, like I said, these kids, this generation, like your son, my daughters, they are, and this is gonna sound fucked up, they're better humans than us at a younger age than we are at this age, because their mind is more open to things. Where we was closed off, they're open to it. And I love the shit out of that, and I hate it at the same time, because that means that naiveness is on 10 when I'd rather it be on 4.
Yeah, although Gary did ask me the other day, because the NFL commercial, I believe that's 2 Chainz.
Uh-huh.
Talking about I got your back. He did ask, who is that? I'm like, you can't tell? In his defense, though, because he said something to the effect, well, he's got more than 2 chains on. So that's his name. Alias. That's all.
Now, at first, when he came out, because his original rap name was Titty Boy, when he left Disturbing the Peace, DTP, that's when the 2 Chainz moniker started being more prevalent. The cover of his first solo album was 2 Chainz, and he literally only wore it. So now that he's entrenched where he's 2 Chainz, and people forget that he was called Titty Boy, now he's, he wears a lot of fucking jewelry. The nigga probably has about 150,000 all the time.
That's in his grill alone.
Yeah. So it's wild, but in the beginning, if V would have saw him, he would have just saw 2 Chainz.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking of that 2 Chainz commercial. And by the way, he was on 50-yard line in Las Vegas. I could tell the 50-yard line in that stadium. That's
Yeah,
all
I mean, like I said, they pushing Vegas in the stadium as if people don't know there's a stadium in Vegas. So that stadium must be off the strip to where they're trying to let people know, hey, this is here.
Yes, right on the edge. If the furthest out, I believe, is Mandalay Bay. And when you're on the high rise in the Mandalay Bay, you can see the stadium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and they'll push it this year, but it won't get no more push next year. Next year they'll be on SoFi. Actually, starting with the Super Bowl, they'll be on SoFi because that's the NFL's baby.
Again, I disagree. Y'all have the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, but they probably won't say anything about it until we're like midway through the season. After they announce who's doing the show at halftime and all that.
Well, that's what they did with this one. They pushing both arenas because both of them are new.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of the things so where they want to make sure money is made because they don't want either owners to not be able to send that check for relocating, which is smart on their part. Because we keep y'all making money, you keep paying us what you owe.
Now, that's the thing I'll say about Allegiant in Las Vegas. Right now, Mark Davis is making more money than he ever did in Oakland. So
I without a doubt. I mean, you didn't really have a home in Oakland, so that's no surprise.
And everything's tax-free down there? Oh, yeah. He ain't worried.
Yeah. Now, I will
Los Angeles
say,
is different. Los Angeles, I don't know if you've ever been to California.
nah.
There's literally always something to do.
Yeah.
Always. Hey, Rick, let's go watch a football game. I'd rather go check the show out. You know, something like that. That is what they struggle with in California. And then they had the nerve to put 2 teams in California. So, you know, this ain't like Oakland where you're in the, poor people's part of the state. And the football game is probably the only thing going on Sunday night. You're in Hollywood, shit's jumping off every night. Sunday through Saturday.
All they got to do, to be honest, and I say this all the time, if you want something to be successful in LA, you need to get Magic Johnson on your payroll. I don't know why either team in LA hasn't fucked with Magic to get him on payroll to push the product. Because Magic, even though he ain't with the Lakers no more, that motherfucker tweeted that Jenny Buss deserves better than the product that's on the court. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Stephen A. said yesterday on First Take, because of that comment, Magic is letting you know, and he's talking to Jenny, let her know, you deserve better than what you're getting. He said, don't be surprised when a trade happens before the deadline because Magic has spoken.
I'm going to be honest with you. I saw this happening. I really did. You can't buy a championship.
Now, you can. I disagree. You can buy a championship. It happens all the time. Miami did it for 3 years. You can buy one. It's just how much are you willing to pay for it?
Yeah. And their problem is now you got to keep it together. Is DeAnthony Davis worth the money that he got paid?
If he get the thing with Anthony Davis and the thing with Zion Williamson, Anthony Davis needs a strengthening coach to help him rebuild his body. Zion Williams needs a strengthening coach and a dietary specialist to monitor his eating, give him proper eating habits, and to rebuild his body also. These things are dropping the bucket as far as what they cost, but the team nor the player pays for it or wants to pay for it, which is baffling to me.
Yeah, it don't make no sense to me either. Going back to football.
Before you switch,
yeah.
I know you didn't see this yesterday. I need to send you the link so you can see it. I actually watched Manning Cast yesterday for a Monday night game.
Yeah,
since the game
was going to do that even though it's playoff.
Yeah, since the game was trash, I just switched to ESPN2, and I watched it. Now the week before, Snoop was on there for the last regular season game.
Yeah.
And I guess it was Eli's birthday. So Snoop was like, "Happy birthday, Eli." I'm going to send you a death row chain for your birthday. Of all people, you going to send Eli Manning a death row chain. And that motherfucker sent Eli a death row chain.
Damn.
Solid gold, a motherfucking chain. I didn't think he was going to actually do it. Eli got that bitch and wore it on Monday.
Damn.
And I thought I was tripping because he had it on for a minute, I think like the first half, then he took it off. Saw today the link, they was like, Snoop actually saying he did a video unboxing. He was like, damn. He was like, Snoop, you really did send me a chain. So he put it on or whatever. And he was like, I will be wearing this tonight. I thought it was mind blown. So Eli has a death row chain. He gonna say, this is gonna give me some props for my neighbors now.
Okay. That's nice right there.
I was outdone by that.
Damn, I should have watched the Manning cast. Instead, I was just watching that ass kicking on regular TV.
That game was so damn boring. The Manning cast made it funny. Well, I think that was the last one of the season. But they've been
I would
so
have watched the Manning
popular.
cast the week before, but I was much too wrapped up in the game.
Yeah, you was too focused.
Yeah.
They've done so good with that. NBA has copied it. So where now they have I forgot what they call theirs, but they have Quentin Richardson and Jamal Crawford watching games, and then different people are watching it with them. I was like, boy, everything's so copycat, but at the same time, you gotta give Manning props. Like, who knew a gimmick skit type thing would turn into something like this?
Speaking of watching stuff, it was an older episode, I believe. What is it? All the Smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the episode with Joy Taylor.
Yeah, Jason Taylor's daughter. I mean, sister.
Yeah, I didn't know she'd been in the game that long.
She's cute as hell, but she's irritating. I don't feel like
Yes. But she started talking about all her work with Skip and all of them, and she started off on that Miami radio. So I'm like, damn, she goes back a lot farther than I thought. You know, I didn't first see her or notice her until she replaced the other chick on Colin Cowherd.
And I didn't like how she dumped on Skip and them, talking about how she couldn't do this, couldn't do that, and how Collins, this, that, and the third. I'm like, you worked for the headline show of the network. What did you expect?
Yeah.
And then she really kind of, played herself because the chick that's on there now, she just got a new contract to where she's about to be put on other stuff, and they got to find another host because they about to put her as they about to give her the face of the network, female-wise.
Yeah, she could have had that.
Yeah, but she too busy. What if I'm sick? And man, go somewhere with that. That's just like when, Ground Lover, Carrie Champion, when she left First Take, talking about how she couldn't do this, couldn't do that. If you're on the flagship show of a network, they only want you to focus on that show. You got to know that. If you don't, you're not paying attention to the room.
True. Also, NFL wise, all right, we'll get to all the winners of the games on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But first, I want to talk about the losers, the teams that are out now. How do I want to phrase this question? Of all the teams that lost, who do you think got the most respect?
None of them, they lost.
I'm going to disagree. My
I'm
Raiders
gonna be a
weren't
homer.
supposed to be there. By the way, won 10 games, made the playoffs.
You was right. Your ass got lucky as hell.
Yeah, they needed to win 4 straight.
Yeah, I blame
They won
Gruden
4
for
straight.
this. If Gruden would have been there, that wouldn't have happened. So I blame him.
And that's where I'm saying they got the most respect, because I think that they were a much better team without him than with him.
I don't know why you think that deserves respect. You play to win. You don't get no respect for that.
Yes, everybody plays to win, but only one team got in on the last day. Could have been two, but Chargers head coach decided he wanted to call timeout. That's another story.
Again, with that, you don't play to tie. You play to win.
I agree with you. I'd have kicked the field goal.
And because of that mindset right there, if I was Mark Davis, hey, thank you, but no thanks. You play to win. You have a killer instinct.
Now,
you don't try to tie.
I will say this. Knowing who your opponent would be, that would weigh into it. Because if they had tied, Vegas would have had to play on the road in Kansas City. Now, it's one thing to lose 26-19. It's another to get blown out. I wouldn't want that embarrassment. Let me win this game so I can play the Bengals. Same result, but to a lesser degree. That's why Pittsburgh got that ass whooped.
After watching that Bengals game, Jamar Chase is not as good as they make him seem. Cause like when they played Kansas City, I was at work, so I really didn't get to see the game. But I swear, every catch he made that was a big catch per se, yeah, I saw a lot of push-ups. I saw that right hand was pushing somebody.
Yeah.
That looked like the defense is truly at a disadvantage.
I am a little butthurt because of the non-call in the game where Cincinnati was awarded a touchdown after the whistle blows. And I don't know how many replays I've seen, but the whistle clearly blew before the catch was made. I'm not saying that they would not have scored on that drive, but they should have repeated the down.
Yeah, once the whistle blown, play's dead.
So, there is not much respect in losing, but I think if they keep the nucleus, the core of this team together, you got to some extent respect the Raiders because if they keep it close, they are coming back.
What I will say, and you probably won't agree, y'all need a dominant receiver because Renfro, he's good for pretty routes or whatever, but
he's just a guy. You need a deep guy. You do need.
Since he took that away from y'all in that game for the most part, and there was nobody else on the other side, so you need a dominant go-to receiver, and he could be a good number two. You need a dominant. That's one thing I noticed about the Kansas City game Sunday and when we played Denver. You could tell, one, defense really wasn't into it. They didn't care for real. That's why it was a gift and a curse. But offensively, other receivers finally started stepping up. And you saw the carryover in the game against Pittsburgh, to where you saw receivers finally making plays. There wasn't Tyreek Hill or wasn't Travis Kelce. You saw the other receivers making catches, actually catching the ball going up the field and not dancing. So it's just like finally the receiving core is showing what they can do. Even though Travis still had 100 yards and Tyreek had his crucial catches, but you saw Rico doing his, you saw Robinson doing his. Pringle is shown a lot to where I consider Pringle the number 2 receiver. He's done his to where Josh Gordon probably ain't going to touch the field ever again. There's no need for him to touch the field ever again. Only thing we got to do is that rookie that we drafted at tight end, I hope that he progresses to where, because Kelce's been playing 9 years now, 10 years. You got to think at 13 he's going to be done. So I need that rookie tight end to come up and we start pulling him back. Because he had 90 or 100 catches, still over 1,000 yards and 10, 12 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Still huge numbers. But at some point, that train is going to slow down.
Now, we talked about losers that may have gained respect. Let's flip it. The losing teams that should never have been there. I'm going to say this. You can tell me if you agree. Dallas.
No, Dallas won a division. They deserve to be there. That just was poor play.
Dallas' division. It's not like they play in the AFC West.
It don't matter if their division is trash. They won it. They deserve to go. You win your division, you deserve to be there.
Yeah, but it looked like they were just so lifeless up until the end and then blew it.
But see, and also, people forget Dallas and the 49ers have always had a rivalry. It's been a little dead and watered down, but it actually was back. And I think Dallas didn't take their opponent serious enough. Because you got to think about it. They clinched their division before anybody. That goes a long way with cockiness. So I think they was like, oh, you know, we got the win. Then next thing you know, the 49ers have got healthy. Deebo Samuels is a beast. Deebo Samuels what Cordell Patterson was supposed to be in the league. And they got hit in the mouth and they didn't recover from it.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're Philly, the other team in their division, gets in with a losing record and is locked in as the 6th seed. I was like, wow, that division's weak. It reminds me of, 4 or 5 years ago when it was New England and then everybody else in the AFC East. Before Buffalo started making the hard charge and Miami got decent even though they let their coach go, head scratcher still.
That damn Buffalo shit is so trash. They want Josh Allen to be so bigger than what he is. It makes no sense at all.
Let's talk about that. Out of the winners, who most impressed you?
Shit, nobody. Everybody did what they supposed to. The 49ers probably be the most impressive because by numbers they were supposed to lose. But, as far as the bet and everything.
That's why I would pick them. They were most impressive. They showed that their defense could be just as good as Dallas's, if not better. And that running attack, Dallas had no answer.
And that's the thing. If you take away the corner and one lineman and that linebacker, who else is on Dallas's defense? So is the defense really as good as they were trying to sell it?
Probably not. Just like their offense.
No, the offense.
But quit trying to run Zeke when you know the backup is better.
That's their problem. But you got so much money invested in Zeke, you need to keep that stock high if you try to trade him. It's like they kept talking about how Jimmy G, his last 4 or 5 games of the season, his stock done went up because there's a chance he may be on the trading block because they might want that young receiver that they drafted to take over. So you keep putting out there, oh, Jimmy. So
that's true.
It's one of the things, just roll of the dice.
All right, so out of the winners, just the winners, who do you think underperformed?
Nobody, because they won. They did. You won, you did your job. Whether you win by 3 points or a point, you did your job.
Right, but I'm thinking of it from terms of the next round. I don't think that you got the horses to hang with whoever your opponent is.
Any given Sunday. You really can't say that because every week is different. Just like right now, if you look at the Chiefs versus Buffalo, they both smacked their opponents.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that in Arrowhead?
It's in Arrowhead. But we lost to Buffalo at Arrowhead.
Yeah, but it's going to be a playoff atmosphere.
The defense was different then, too. We didn't have Melvin Gordon. We didn't have Chris Jones. We didn't. Our rookie linebackers wasn't playing like they were now. So it's like the defense has changed. And the offense, we got a better run game now. McKinnon balled out in that game against Pittsburgh. Yeah. So it's just, we got different facets that are better than we played Buffalo. But at the same time, like I told you, when we lost to Buffalo, when we lost to Baltimore, we was due to lose because we've been smacking them around consecutively for how many seasons now? So it was bound to happen. So it's just like, if you look at things now, how they won, how we won, both teams we played were trash. They played New England, trash. We played Pittsburgh, trash. So it's literally a repeat of last year, just not in the conference final. A class of the Titans, who's going to win? But let them all, Josh Allen. He's so great. Because when, like I said, when Ryan Clark was like Buffalo's one of three teams that wouldn't trade their quarterback for Mahomes. Let's talk about that for a second. Mahomes had a trash season per the league, right?
If you want
Fourth in the league with 4,800 passing yards. How was that trash? Over 30 touchdowns, and I think he finished with like 8 or 10 interceptions.
He only had 4,800 yards?
Barely. He should have had more, but
he's no Derek Carr, but it's okay.
Yeah, and Derek Carr is on shaky ground. 4,800 yards, 30-plus touchdowns, I think maybe 10 interceptions, but that's a trash season? Go tell me, oh, this is the most interceptions he's ever thrown. This is only his fifth year and the fourth year starting. So it's like we so fickle and extra on how we view things. Like even with David Carr, I give you a hard time about Carr. But Carr, my bad, that one motherfucker just need a haircut. Great numbers. Should be franchise quarterback. But is he getting paid like a franchise? Or are they even trying to lock him down?
Well, this is the contract year, so
you get what I'm saying? I think
a lot of it is going to be dependent on who they hire as the HC. If they bring Versace back, he's in. If they bring Harbaugh in, he's in. If they bring somebody else in, I don't think so.
If they bring Harbaugh in, he ain't in. He's not a Harbaugh type quarterback.
I think he is because Harbaugh really didn't like Kaepernick.
Look at Andrew Luck. He's not Andrew Luck type.
Well, Harbaugh had nothing to do with Andrew Luck.
Harbaugh coached Andrew Luck.
Yeah, but...
No, he coached him at Stanford. There's no yeah but about it. He coached him.
Stanford is a different animal, though. There's only so much.
No. Don't try to curve it. He coached him. That's a Harbaugh type quarterback. Carr's not on that level. Carr, but that's the point I'm making, though, is his numbers, he should be locked down as your franchise quarterback, regardless who you bring in at coach and GM. But he's not being treated like that. That's what I'm like, this shit is so fickle. Because I literally watched on YouTube that documentary from NFL Network or whatever called Deep Dive, 30-minute documentary on Priest Holmes. I did not realize, even though I was of age watching, I didn't realize how much of a beast Priest was from when he signed with us in 2000 till he retired in 2007.
He was cold.
To see it, number-wise and everything, mind blown. To know that he finished with like 8,700 yards was basically a season away from 10,000 yards. And to see that he set the records for the touchdowns before LT broke it, and how he got all these numbers, all these yards in a 7-year span, and he's not even considered for the Hall of Fame, but Terrell Davis and Gale Sayers are in. And they have...
I understand what you mean with Terrell Davis, but Gale Sayers is a different animal. That was back before, anybody... He was the first person they've seen that could do something like that in a short amount of time. So, naturally, back in the day, he's a shoe-in. He does that now, he's a footnote on somebody's roster. That's it.
But the thing is, if we going off numbers, he's in the Hall. Priest has better numbers. They was like where Priest is number-wise, Terrell Davis was like 30 behind him. And Gale Sayers was like 50 behind him. And I was just like, that's wild as hell. Yeah, so I'm already knowing TD got in because of his rings. You take them rings away, he don't get in.
I don't want to equate it to numbers, though, because then you're going to say Derek Carr should be in the Hall. I'm not even ready enough to say that. He puts up good numbers, and if he gets a good-ass offense and an offensive line, he could probably go farther. But until it happens, I won't even win a playoff game before we even talk about Super Bowls, before we even talk about Hall of Fame.
But when it comes to the Hall of Fame, they look at rings and numbers.
Yeah.
And like Priest is number 15 on the all-time touchdown list, like 80-something touchdowns. And he got all that from a 7-year span. Because I forgot he was even on Baltimore when they won that championship. I forgot
right.
he got a ring.
That was wasn't that
The 99-2000 season.
Ray Lewis
That was
last year?
Was that his last year? Ray Lewis retired in 2000?
I thought he did.
No, wasn't Ray Lewis there for both rings?
I don't know if he was there for the second one. The second one was when they played the 49ers, right?
I think he was there for both of them, if I'm not mistaken. Because like it was 2000 and 2010, if I'm not mistaken.
Because I could swear he came out. I could swear he came out and did his little dance in front of the crowd during the opening of the game, but he wasn't suited.
I could be wrong. But it's like to see Priest and his numbers, and the documentary was like him nor Dick Vermeil get any mention Hall of Fame wise. Then I'm like, why ain't Vermeil in the Hall of Fame?
Now see, that's
Between
a
the
head scratcher.
Eagles, the Rams, and what he did in Kansas City, because it hit me. The offense we got now with Andy still ain't touching what we had with Vermeil. That offense was so potent and so deadly. It's just our defense was trash. They literally was like.
That may be why he doesn't get mentioned as much, because the defense was trash.
But still, what he did with the Rams and Eagles, you can't deny. And this is how crazy.
Especially the Rams. He took the backup quarterback and made him a superstar.
Yeah. And like I said, this is how wild Priest's numbers were. They said if you look at his numbers today compared to the other running backs, fantasy-wise, he averaged 30 points a game for you.
Yeah.
You and I both know how big that is in fantasy.
That's very big.
You hoping both your running backs combined give you 30 points. Let alone one player to give you quarterback-type numbers.
That's the difference between an 8-4 team and a 4-8 team.
Thanks.
I know, because I finished our fantasy season in 9th place. Just barely escaped the 7th.
What made it, to me, what makes it so just mind-blowing to where he should get a nod to at least be mentioned for the Hall of Fame, he put up those numbers, and Gonzalez was on the team too, doing his numbers.
Yeah.
So it's just, I hate that he was one season away to where he could have easily got another 1,300 to where he would have been the 10,000 club. Then he would be considered for the Hall of Fame. That's one thing I think when it comes to running backs is kind of trash, is that if you ain't got 10,000 yards, they don't consider you. But at the same time, I'm like, you got to look and see what they've done on that team, how effective they was. Because you and I both know, you being a Raiders fan, you got roasted by him many a times, all bullshit aside. You take him out the equation, our offense isn't as dominant. Easily, you taking 14 points off the board. Easy.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of 3-touchdown games. And the only person that was touching him was in his damn division in LT. But they showed the matchup, majority of the matchups, he outplayed LT. Then when Portis came, he outplayed Portis. But Portis is more Jamal Charles era, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I give it to y'all. Y'all done had a few good running backs. You know, I go down to Christian Okoye. You know, like him.
You know, I hate that Larry Johnson got records with his trash ass.
Yeah, Larry Johnson got under the coach's skin, and that was that. So
he just, once he got money, he didn't know what to do. Because when you look back, he been baby. His daddy was his coach. Then his daddy got hired as a running back coach for Penn State, and his daddy was his coach there. So when Vermeil made that comment, you got to take your diapers off, he wasn't bullshitting. Nigga, I'm your coach, not your daddy.
Also, one of the best coaching comments ever. Still behind Denny Green's comment and Herm Edwards' comments, but, you know, I still like those.
Yeah.
All right, before we close it out, who you got to win this weekend in all the games?
Shit, who's playing who? I forgot.
Kansas City will host Buffalo.
Going to overtime, we'll win off a touchdown.
You got it closer than I do. I got Kansas City winning by 14.
Nah, Buffalo got a mission to prove. Josh Allen, they trying to, pump him up like one of those things outside the stores. They be doing all like that and shit. So him and Diggs, they probably circled that game because, it's like it's Allen and Diggs versus Mahomes and Hill. Because they think they on that level, but they really not. Although Diggs, he ate up, this past Saturday. He ate good.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening again.
Game 2, Cincinnati at Tennessee.
Tennessee should win that.
Should. I didn't watch too many Titan games this year. I'm not sure how good their defense is.
They defense should win that game for them. They defense is real physical.
They need to shut down Jamar Chase then. They can do that. They got it. I don't know what their running back situation is either. Go boy back?
He's supposed to be, but they backup play good, so they good running back wise either way. It's just can Tannehill get the ball to the receivers.
That's what I was going to say. Ryan Tannehill cannot afford to make any mistakes.
I wouldn't put the game in Tannehill's hands. And that's another thing. Tennessee probably is going to want to win because why? They want the rematch with us in the playoffs. Because what do they keep mentioning? Well, they keep mentioning how they had us beat and we came from behind on them. So you can't tell me they not saying, okay, Kansas City go beat them. We need to meet him right there so we can get revenge. Yeah, because they beat us during the season. Oh, wow, yeah, does it really matter? Not so much.
Again, that was when Spags really didn't have control of the defense.
Yeah, what?
That was when Spags really didn't have control of the defense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But their mindset is, I'd rather beat them in the playoffs versus the regular season. Because remember, we lost to them in the regular season before we went on that run and we won it all. They want to beat us in the playoffs because that taste is still in their mouth. And commentators keep bringing that up.
I mean, wasn't they up 23-0 and then still lost?
Exactly. Them and the Texans.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you may win during the season, but ultimately you want revenge in the playoffs.
Defensively, they may be built to stop Kansas City, but I think offensively, if they don't put up enough points, they may not get past Cincinnati, let alone Kansas City. I'll give them the win based on what we've said about the defense, but I don't think they have the horses to go all the way. Now, I was just going to say in the NFC, San Francisco is going to Green Bay. I think the Packers are going to whitewash them.
Yeah, I think so because Jimmy G's beat up.
That's right. He's got that shoulder injury.
Yeah, along with the hand. So you give it to the Packers because they got the healthier quarterback.
Yeah. And then Tampa Bay is going to be hosting. Who's the other team in the NFC?
The Rams.
Yeah, the Rams. Damn, how can I forget them? They just played last night. That's going to be a good one. That's going to be the game that comes down to whoever has the ball last.
Whoever wins that game, I don't think either one of them probably could beat the Packers.
No.
If it's played in Green Bay, which is going to be played in Green Bay.
That's true.
I want the Rams to win because I'm tired of Brady, but then I want them to lose to Green Bay because I don't like how Carson Wentz, how he's just getting dumped on like he wasn't quality for the Rams. Like Matthew Stafford's a savior. When Stafford was good with Detroit, but he was Megatron good. You take Megatron out of the equation when he retired, he went from great to good or okay. So it's one of the things.
I think he tries to force the ball too much. He tries to force it to Odell Beckham a lot.
I wouldn't say he's forcing to Beckham. Beckham got the ball forced in Cleveland. I think where he's forced the ball is almost like they had to make Cooper Kupp the guy. Once the other two receivers went down hurt, it was Cooper. And Cooper Kupp is good, but I think he's like Winthrow to where once a real defensive-minded coach really looks at it, you can shut him down. It's just the thing is, do you want to stay in nickel and put a corner to shadow him, or do you want to have a safety on him? That's what you got to decide which one you want to do. Because like in that game, not Monday night game, but the last game of the season, he went down there a half without a catch. So it's like, how good is he really? And like even with and matter of fact, Odell saved them to where they won that game. But that's the same in the Monday night game just yesterday. Odell again came up big because people forget Odell still can ball out.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't have to be the number one guy because he's doing everything he's coming across the middle, he's going deep, he's taking the screen passes. The man's a beast. Is just like Dennis Rodman toward the end. His baggage is too big for the play.
I would agree with that.
And he was too big for Cleveland. He wasn't too big for New York, but he was too big for a rookie quarterback. Now that he's in LA, it's level playing field, but people want to look at him like he's damaged when he's not. It's just he wasn't in a great situation. Now, when he left Cleveland, his boys started shining again because he was the number 1 and 2 option. So it's all about opinion and just how fickle things are commentary-wise. And I just want to say, I find it hilarious. All the Chief bashing that was done by all these talking heads, we beat Pittsburgh, nothing. Nothing was said. You got maybe 5 minutes worth of talk, and that was it.
But it's kind of expected, though, since just a couple weeks ago, y'all laid a major beat down on them.
I just found it hilarious. I was just like, y'all talk all this shit. We do what we need to do, and then nothing. Nothing is said at all.
It's probably more or less the New England effect. Everybody is so used to y'all being there that it's like, oh, yeah, it's the Chiefs. Next, It really gets like that nowadays.
And so I'm waiting to see how many is going to pick Buffalo to beat us because it's about to be, we're the evil empire and we're not trying to be, but we get put in that class.
And that's the thing. Buffalo doesn't blow that game against New England in New England in week, I want to say 9 or 10, whatever it was. This game would be in Buffalo, but they blew it. So now they've got no choice but to go on the road to Kansas City. They very high.
That's the thing. We beat them in Buffalo when we played them in Buffalo season before last.
Yeah, that is also true. I'll make one more comment before we shut it down. The officiating sucks.
Yeah, it's been trash this postseason.
And I'm not just talking about the Raider game. I'm talking about all of
But just overall, it's been trash.
Yeah, I mean, blown calls, avoiding calls, and then calling stuff that should never be called.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they like I said, it's time for them to get some young officials in there, a new crop, and just go from there.
Yeah. Fortunately, Jerome Boger and his crew are not doing any more games. Because if they were, I'm pretty sure Cincinnati would say, come on down here and do this game so that we can win again.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all.
All right. That's all I got for today. Take me another blood pressure pill and I'm veg out for the rest of the night.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm
Hopefully
about to figure out.
Results are negative when they come.
They say I'm supposed to get them tonight or first thing in the morning, so.
And I don't
know.
know take that long because they get our results back in 15 minutes.
Like I said, I don't know. I kind of wouldn't mind wanting to be positive so I can get out of this DJ gig I got Saturday because I don't know. It's just
that's money,
dealing
though.
with them having it.
Don't leave money on the table.
I just don't know if it's worth it, bro. Just feel like even the having this job offer from the health department, I'm just like, do I really want to be dealing with people face to face? So it's just you really got to think about shit like that. Not saying I'm gonna get COVID every damn time, but it's just you just don't know.
Real quick, that's the thing. They've changed our COVID rules. As of today, and we got this message from the school, they're not even doing any more contact tracing. So if you've been around somebody with COVID, oh well, ho hum, you're going to get it sooner or later. That is the mindset. When I read the email, I'm like, wow, they are really throwing in the towel on this shit.
Yeah, a friend of mine told me her kid's school was like, still come to school. If you had contact, you ain't got it, come to school. Because last semester, only a third of the kids had it, but all of them was out. It was like a stupid amount of days where kids was at home that didn't have it.
And that's the thing. These schools now, they are not interested in doing school from home. So they are hell-bent on everybody show up as long as you're not sick. I think that's going to come back to bite us in the ass. I really do.
Yeah, if they're still in school come March, I'll be surprised. I'm thinking somewhere by end of March. I won't be surprised if the last 2 months of school are virtual. The last 2 to 3 months.
Just like you, I was kind of hoping they would say my results were positive for different reasons. Obviously, take that nice little couple days off, but also I'd have it. I'd be immune for 3 months. That way I ain't got to worry about this shit no more for a while. And that's the thing. But, you know, watching Heather go through it right now, like, nah, maybe it's for the better that we not both sick at the same time.
You know, we'll find out in due time.
All right,
different
man.
world we in.
I'm going to go ahead and call it. Everybody that's watching, make sure you like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. And take us on out of here, Kev.
Everybody have a good one. I think next week may have Nelson back to talk about how trash his team is. I don't know. You know, since they was a big ass disappointment, I picked a punk ass.
I just turned to that game when it was 31-0, and I'm like, oh, I know he got me sick.
I started watching YouTube. That's how good the game was.
Don't blame me.
But on that note, everybody say go Chiefs. Come Sunday at 6:15, I think it is. I won't say it yet because, you know, I'll say it when we get to the Super Bowl. Otherwise, I'm just not going to say it. But outside of that, hey, everybody have a good one. Holler at your boys, but just please don't yell.
All right, stay positive, stay blessed, everybody. Good night.